Hey, this is Mark with Northwest Bourbon. It's Friday night and it's bourbon o'clock, and I am pumped. I am excited for tonight because I finally get to taste the Maker's Mark wood finishing series. I have not tried any of the wood finishing series, so here we go. I have a kind of a soft spot in my heart for Maker's Mark because that's where my bourbon journey began, where I really started to love bourbon. I always was a fan of a bunch of different kinds, but Maker's Mark was always a go-to of mine when I wanted a really good drink. It wasn't until I got in with my bourbon brothers here at Northwest Bourbon that I really started to venture out from that kind of standard line of their standard offerings. I thought Maker's Mark was my favorite. And really started expanding what I found to appreciate in the world of bourbon. A little history on Maker's Mark. In 1953, Bill and Margie Samuels started Maker's Mark. The way that Bill found the right grain combination he was looking for is he had them baked in loaves of bread until he found that right grain combination. Margie's big contribution was that she used her home fryer to dip the tops of the bottle in a red wax to seal the tops of them to give it that signature Maker's Mark seal on top. Very interesting stuff. There's a lot more to this story. Go online, Maker's Mark, check it out. So the standard Maker's Mark offering has been the same since 1953. I don't have a regular bottle of the Maker's Mark, the yellow with the red labeling, because I got this one on base and so it has this crazy camo pattern to it. But I'll show you, this is what the standard Maker's should look like. Now they were only offering standard Maker's Mark for a long time. Then they came out with the Maker's 46, which is absolutely delicious. One of the best bottles you can get for less than $40 per bottle. Now what they did different with the Maker's 46 is that they took the Maker's Mark bourbon and then they added 10 seared barrel staves in each barrel that adds so much more flavor to it, which it makes Maker's 46. And then recently they upped it even further than that by coming out with the Private Select series. Now the Private Selection series has a lot of different flavor profiles you can find. Almost every one you find is going to be a little bit different, because as I'm showing you here, there are different staves that are added to the different flavor profiles, which gives you a huge spectrum of flavors. We went from the Maker's Mark, then you add the seared staves into it and make the 46, and then you add different types of staves in it to make the Private Selection series. And so that brings us to where we are now with the wood finishing series. They're using toasted sears in them. It gives a very different flavor profile than what you got from the seared ones or the charred ones. So let's get into those wood finishing series bottles and see all they have to offer. And try the 2020 and the 2021 side by side and see which one is better. Because if you are looking for one of them, but at between $60 and $70 each, depending on where you are and where you can find them. If you only want to get one, which one would I suggest that you get? Now you can see that these bottles already have some hits taken out of them. I already poured some samples for the rest of my bourbon brothers here at Northwest Bourbon for them to come on and try them with us. So they're going to be joining us remotely. Let them sit for a little bit. Let's see how the nose is on this. This is the 2020. Smell wood, caramel, spices. Ooh. There's a good vanilla note in there. Oh, there's some other complex things going on. Ooh, finally. Alright, hey, Chester's gone. Hey, what's up, man? I was just nosing the 2020. You got me in perfect time. I feel like that guy from Blue's Clues for a second there where he's like, hey, one of our friends is calling, and then it pops. Oh man, that was funny. Sorry, dude. Alright, so yeah, we're nosing the 2020. You ready? Alright. What do you think?
start with the 2020. Good, nice, lovely smell coming off of this and leaving it sitting. You really get a lot more different oak smells coming in a lot stronger than your regular Maker's Mark.
But there's some more fruits along with the spices and wood. A little bit of the charred wood smell with honey and vanilla. But there's some crazy fruit notes coming out. Let's give it a try. Oh man.
Definitely a lot harder than most of your other ones. These come in at like 110 proof. Definitely feel that burn for that first initial drink when you start getting a lot more of those other notes coming out as well.
You taste some of those dried fruits. But then when it hits the back of your tongue, you're getting some cinnamon and other baking spices. A little bit of the Kentucky hug along with it. The back of my mouth right now is feeling a lot of that cinnamon type flavor. Some other baking spices. It first hits you with like the more like red cinnamon that's a little bit spicier, but then as it sits on the back of your throat, you get more of the baking spices like the brown baking cinnamon and nutmeg, and almost like a overcooked pie crust that you haven't put any fruit on it yet, because the fruit is on a separate part of your palate. More fruits came out of the second sip. A little bit of a darker wood note. A dark fruit like a currant. Hey Chester, you know what I'm talking about with those dark fruit notes?
So for me, I get a lot more of the darker leather, get some darker berries, sort of like a cherryish finish. I like it. It's pretty good.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So, Chester, before we get into the 2021, after having a couple sips of the 2020, would you say it's a buy or no?
I'd probably go something a lot cheaper for an everyday drink, but it is a nice occasional drink. So we'll save a little bit of that later to put an ice cube in it, just to see how that also then helps rechange those flavors.
No, I know what you mean, man. I wish I could afford to drink this every day. If I could afford to just buy a case of this instead of just buying cases of Rebel Yell or whatever I can afford to have my daily sipper, I'll do it, man, because this is some good stuff. All right, this is the 2021. Ooh, it smells lighter. Almost some banana bread. Not like the Old Forester banana note, a different banana note, like more of a banana bread. Got some sweetness to it, like some taffy.
So the Maker's Mark 2021. Here we go.
Oh, that smells good.
Very enjoyable. Smells amazing. Really good flavor as well. Like, I'd be happy with either one poured in a glass and handed to me.
Got some woods, almost like a tobacco. If you think of light woods and dark woods, this is a lighter wood than the 2020. Not nearly as much cinnamon in the back of the mouth. There's still a good amount of spice, but it's a little bit more of a pepper spice. Pepper, tobacco, wood. Still got some dried fruits though. Having a hard time placing the types of fruits.
Straight up, I think the 2021 is a little bit sweeter than the 2020. So we'll add an ice cube to this one, let it chill out, and come back to it and see how that goes. Oh, now that these have been sitting, chilling out with a little ice cube, we'll go back and see what other flavors are opening up on them. Wow. You do get a lot more of those floral notes already coming out in the 2020. Man, that goes down like water. This is going to be a tough battle. And my taste buds are the ones that have to make it through it. It's very rough. It's very rough.
Alright, so I've got an ice cube in the 2020. Ooh, that brought forward some lighter, sharper notes of the piney type wood with honey on it. And the cinnamon is a lot lighter. It's much more palatable cinnamon, not as strong. Softer, mellower fruit notes. Oh, with some ice in it, you've almost got that butter pecan ice cream in the back. There's a lot of spices and wood and other stuff going on, but you get this hint like you ate some butter pecan ice cream while you're smoking a cigar or something. It's really interesting. Alright, let's see how the 2021. So the mash bill is 70% corn, 16% of their signature red winter wheat, and 14% malted barley. Alright, after adding ice to the 2021, getting a really light cherry note, maybe a hint of plum, a little bit of honey. You still get that wood. It's not as cinnamony and so much. It doesn't have the cinnamon and pepper that the 2020 does. So it has a little bit of a lighter, more drinkable. If you're looking for that Maker's Mark Private Select profile without as much of the spice, and it's got a lot more fruit flavors going on in there than the regular as well. And so really like it.
All right, now back to the 2021 on the rocks. Wow. You can definitely taste the difference for the floral notes coming out between the two. Man. For battles every year, for how they slightly change the Woodfinishing series every time, definitely don't make it an easy test. They're both very, very good. It'd be hard to choose a specific one.
When you try them side by side over ice versus neat, what are you thinking?
So they both got a lot of complex flavors and everything going on with them. But I think the 2021 just a little bit smoother, especially once you do add that little bit of water or ice to help open up more of those notes. You get a more complex range of those. So I would go for the 2021 this year. However, for the state we're in, it's wicked hard to find. But I would say it's well worth it.
Oh, that's really good. I really enjoy it. I'm glad I finally found those bottles. They were not easy to find. I was on the hunt just looking all over online and looking at every store around me, waiting for them to come out, telling all my local stores, hey, put in an order for me. And it took me a long time to get the 2021. I was actually able to find the 2020 on the shelf at a store, but the 2021 was a lot harder to find. So my final verdict is, if you like the cinnamon and pepper, like the spicier type, the 2020 is more up your lane. If you like them a little bit sweeter, creamier, fruitier, but still have that nice wood and tobacco note, very very full-bodied, both of them are. But if you prefer the fruits with the oak, then go 2021. If you prefer the spices with the oak, go 2020. But they both have a good creamy sweetness to them. If I was to judge them neat, I would say that the 2021 is better neat and the 2020 is better on ice. Alright guys, so that's my final tasting of Maker's Mark Wood Finishing Series, both 2020 and 2021. Really enjoyed them. I'm glad I finally found them. Thing on that line. If you like Maker's 46, then you'll be blown away by these guys, because they're a lot more complex and have a lot more to offer than the regular 46. And you guys know I love Maker's Mark 46. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. We've got a lot more videos coming your way. Thanks for watching. Cheers. When it was being finished. So that's why it's called the Wood Finishing Series. Right? Now the number and letter designations, I'm not sure why they would name it that, because as a consumer I would want a more recognizable name. Something to for marketing reasons. You know, or just recognition or recognizability, or one of those words. All right, so I've got an ice cube in the 2020. Let's see how. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. I don't think they can hear you.
It's pretty tough.
I'm learning. It's not rocket surgery. I told you I'd figure it out. I got my my Iron Man style shirt on today. It's where I'm just like, boom. I want to like throw up a bunch of things in the air, like I'm calling Jarvis to come and throw up some digital displays of some mash bills or something. All right, let's see if we can. Now, 10 virgin toasted American oak staves are added. I know it's absolutely ridiculous, but that's how I roll.